Hello, WrestleNet Radio listeners. Nate Maxon here with you, and welcome to Slice of Time. As we do every single week here, we go back in time, the news and notes from 25 years ago in professional wrestling, the results, the TVs, the house shows, the indie results, etc., etc. And of course, I am joined this week by my brother Aaron.
What's up, bitches?
And he also has a show that you need to be listening to on the station if you haven't yet. The year that was 19. We love the 90s here, apparently, at WrestleNet Radio. The year that was 1997. And before we get into 25 years ago, I want to talk about 3 weeks from now. I'm pretty excited, Aaron. We are going to be at the Heroes and Legends Wrestling event in Fort Wayne, Indiana, at the Fort Wayne War Memorial Coliseum.
Yes, we will be, unless COVID kills it. We will be there.
Yes, we will. And we will be broadcasting, doing some live Facebook broadcasts from there, also recording some episodes of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. And you never know who might stop by. Maybe we can get some of these stars to stop in and say hi. Would definitely let some of you fans, if you're going to be in the area and you want to come and hang out and then maybe even be on the show, we'll let that happen. Let the people, let the villagers rejoice. But that being said, very happy to be a part of that. And I just talked to the promoter last night, and he's very excited for the show. A lot of stars going to be there. So come if you are in the area of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Come check out Heroes and Legends Wrestling. There are still general admission tickets available on Ticketmaster. So do so. That is all of the plugs I'll do so far here on the show, unless we bring something else up. Conspicuous by his absent Mr. Archie Mitchell, but that's all right. He's here in spirit. No indie results anyway this week, so no having to hear him say yes. He wouldn't have got to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a year or a week of the beginning of some I guess copycat or fake wrestlers this week. We're going to talk about the debut in just a minute of the fake Sting, who was Cobra. Not that Jeff Farmer, the other Jeff Farmer, not the Yep Jeff Farmer.
The actual talented Jeff Farmer.
Yes, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. Our lead story this week, once again having to do with kind of a copycat or what have you. And what could go down as one of the more ill-conceived publicity stunts in a long time. The WWF had their most credible announcer, Jim Ross, announce on their September 6th USA Championship Friday special that Diesel and Razor Ramon were returning to the WWF. Ross said he was basing this report on his quote-unquote most trusted sources. After that deceptive report garnered a hugely disappointing 1.8 rating for the heavily hyped Friday special, and after a weekend of criticism from fans who were aware of the nature of the report, the WWF continued to stand by the story, but attempted to save Ross's reputation by having it appear he is fighting with upper management. The WWF's goal was apparently to get people talking. They did, but it wasn't pretty. The instant feedback from reporters on the 900 lines and from fans on the internet was negative. As Steve Austin walked to the ring for his match against Mark Marrow, Ross said, "I've been in this great sport over 20 years, and right here tonight, I'm going to have the biggest story of my broadcasting career, certainly the biggest story of the year in the WWF. This is going to be shocking, and we'll have it right here." And here you go. Later in the show, Ross said the breaking story we talked about earlier in the show that I realized that I really believe will be the biggest story of the year here in the WWF is this. Big Daddy Cool Diesel and the bad guy Razor Ramon are on their way back to the World Wrestling Federation. Let's see. Anything yet on this debacle? As we're going to watch it play out as the weeks go on. But
I don't know if they were lying or not, but Nash and Hall have both said it got him more money.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
They both said that when the WCW executives heard that Razor and Diesel were coming back, they threw more money at him.
That's WCW for you. Like, nobody fact checked anything or anything. They were just like, hey.
And they were like, all right.
You know, when you really dig into it, and I mean, we'll get back to this story, but when you really dig into it, like, people say, you know, oh, during 1999 and 2000, WCW was run so poorly it went out of business. WCW was always run poorly. You know what I mean? Like, they happened into so much good stuff, but in reality, that place was a fucking shit show from the beginning.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Behind the scenes, the WWF discussed all weekend how they would follow up on the situation. They entertained the idea of bringing wrestlers in to play the Diesel and Ramon characters, an idea that has been floating around for a few months. They did contact independent wrestler Big Titan over the weekend to see if he was available to play Razor Ramon.
That's Rick Wagner.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, yeah. Of course I am. Available? Yeah. Always.
Arby's ain't got to pay me that much. I'll do it.
The WWF appeared to change course on Monday. They posted as their lead story on AOL that Titans Sports CEO Vince McMahon asked Ross to apologize for his report and that Ross would have more to say on Monday Night Raw. On Raw, though, Ross milked his apology for much of the show, plugging that he'd have more on Diesel and Razor's story later in the program. Those plugs strategically were stated just after Nitro went to a commercial break. So there you go. That's the beginning. It's the beginning of the fake Diesel and fake Razor Ramon storyline. We are definitely going to be digging into that as the weeks go on. To be perfectly honest, and again, we'll talk more. We'll obviously talk more. I'm not. I hate this idea. I absolutely hate it. It was stupid. But the two guys, Glenn Jacobs and Rick Bogner, that were placed in these roles, they put their all into it, Yeah.
Like, don't hate the people involved in it, just hate the fucking angle.
Right. That's what I always say about modern WWE. There's such tons of good talent that it's not their fault that the writers and Vince put them in these ridiculous, stupid situations. You ring the bell and they have good matches. But anyway, We'll be digging into more of that later on as the weeks go on, I'm sure. Here we go. For the second straight week on Nitro, which last week we talked about the Big Show, or the Giant, joining the NWO. For the second straight week on Nitro, a surprising turn appeared to have taken place. Sting, who has never been a heel, appeared to have attacked Lex Luger in the arena parking lot. It wasn't actually Sting, but Cobra dressed as Sting.
Jeff Farber.
Yes. I'm going to get to there's a lot of recapping of the show. Luger, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, I'll do this really quick and then we'll talk about it because I think you might have to kind of the same thing to say I do. Luger made his way out to the parking lot and met DiBiase. He asked DiBiase if Sting was out there. DiBiase said he had no idea where Sting was and said, what would I be doing talking to Sting? The phony Sting then stepped out of the limo and attacked Luger. Hogan, DiBiase, Hull, and Nash joined in. Even the chauffeur joined in. Giant stood by and watched. Cobra was dressed in Sting makeup and with one of his robes, but was quite a bit shorter than Luger and Ramon. Sting is just a tad shorter. He also had shorter black hair with sideburns, but it was by no means obviously not the real Sting. The NWO quickly shuffled the imposter Sting back into the limo and drove off. Luger got up and chased after the limo. What were you going to say there about the segment?
I was going to say they should have done it in a fucking parking garage because it was raining, if I remember right. And they tried to do like the spray paint shit and everything like that while it's fucking raining. Like somebody's like, hey, what we're gonna do, it probably shouldn't be raining outside, so let's do it in a fucking parking garage. Every goddamn arena in 1997 had a fucking parking garage connected to it.
Right.
Bring that shit inside.
And that's what I was gonna say about the this is to me it's one of the more memorable, like it's what do I say? It's one of the more memorable things I remember about Nitro. Like it's one of those moments that sticks out. And I think part of it, and like you said, what they wanted to do with the segment, they shouldn't have done because in the rain. But I think part of it that sticks out is that it was raining. You don't see a lot of shit in wrestling take place in the rain. So,
Yeah.
and there's probably a reason for that.
Because it sucks.
Yeah, yeah. But the overall, this was the fake Sting thing.
I mean, it's a cool segment and it's a cool angle, and
Mm-hmm.
fake Sting worked. Like in '96 when I saw it, I didn't know it was fake Sting. You know what I mean? Like I
Right.
was like, oh yeah, sideburns or whatever. Like I didn't think about all that, but I do remember that they were like trying to like tag their fucking car and shit in fucking rain, and it didn't work.
The yeah, and they never gave Ric Flair and Barry Windham the credit for the idea either. Just saying. For those of you that don't get it, you just don't get it. Go watch Halloween Havoc 1990, and then you'll get it. All right, so
Barry
that was that
Sting did
on.
not look like real Sting at all.
What's that?
Barry Sting did not look like real Sting at all.
Yeah, Barry Sting was bad. I remember seeing the pictures of him on the cover of the wrestling magazines in the Sting garb, and you're looking at it like he don't look nothing like Sting.
Why does Sting have tits?
All right, let's see here. We got some. Let's head into the WWF news here before we go to Raw. Final date of the September 8th to 14th tour of South Africa will be broadcast live on national television in South Africa. Jim Ross will be there to call the matches. I think this is when they had.
I think we're coming up to the Vince Russo getting in charge Raw.
Yeah, that's in February of '97, though. I think.
Oh, okay.
But it's a few months later. But this is the tour where they film like the interview with Bret Hart. Is he going to come back? Is he not going to come back? And they're playing that whole game because he does wrestle in the South African tour. Let's see here. Olympic gold medal winner in the 220-pound wrestling division, Kurt Angle, visited the Titan Towers this week. He is looking at turning pro in the U.S. or Japan. He's 27 and from Pittsburgh, and we all know where that goes. One of the greatest of all time. Has there ever been more of a duck to water in professional wrestling? Like, damn. I'm actually watching late 99 stuff right now as I go through watching Raw and Nitro, and he's just made his debut. And you know what? His first match, his first, obviously, WWF televised match. He's had matches before that. He, in his debut match, gave Sean Stasiak's best match ever. Like, that match is fucking killer. It's great.
There's not very many, like you said, duck to water people like Kurt.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt,
I'm wondering if they, yeah. And I'm wondering if they think they're. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say he got it. He knew exactly what his character was, and he was a fucking athlete. And there's, I don't want to say it, like he might be the greatest pure professional wrestler that's ever lived.
Mm-hmm. Or at least that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Of our day and age. I'm sure there are people who tell us Danny Hodge or something like that, but of our era of being a pro wrestling fan, I absolutely agree. And I wonder if they're hoping they can catch lightning in a bottle again with this Gable Stevenson guy who just got out of the Olympics. They signed him this week, so I guess we'll see where that goes.
I'll probably fuck.
Yeah, he'll Akam Albrecht, an award-winning bodybuilder, signed with the WWF. We all know that is Brackus. Brackus is one of the big mysteries of that time, like 97 or whatever. Like, he had his vignettes, and I thought his vignettes were cool. I don't care what anybody says. He may have been
were cool.
He may have been a turd in the ring, but I thought his
stale toast, man.
Yeah, he had a good mystique. And then I think he really only ever had like 2 televised matches, one of which was in the Brawl for All. But anyway.
And he was an ECW and
Well, yeah, that's true.
fucked ass. That dude was bad.
Let's see here. Wrestling Challenge replaces WWF Superstars as the primary syndicated show because at this time they moved Superstars to USA Network. The latest WWF magazine acknowledged Steve Austin and Brian Pillman teaming up in the past as the Hollywood Blondes, but said they are more likely to feud than team up in the WWF. The latest WWF magazine also has a disturbing and moving interview with Ahmed Johnson, who talked about being beaten and neglected as a child. So, there you go.
Good.
There's
Even his parents didn't like him.
The WWF took out a $5 million mortgage on Titan Towers 5 years ago, according to the WWF's Ed Cohen. I don't know why that's a news item, but it's there. That's it for the news. Let's see the WWF on the road here. House shows. August 5th in Austin, Texas at the Frank Irwin Center. The Bushwhackers beat Justin Hawk Bradshaw and Uncle Zeb. The Bushwhackers versus JBL and Dutch Mantel.
I don't know if that would be a good match or a bad match.
I think it would be an entertaining match.
It would be entertaining.
Let's see. Farouk beat Bob Holly. Jose Lothario pinned Jim Cornette. The Stalker Barry Windham pinned Jerry Lawler after a pile driver. The Smoking Guns fought the Grimm Twins, Ron and Don Harris, to a double countout. Psycho Sid pinned Vader after a choke slam, and Shawn Michaels pinned Goldust. Undertaker missed the entire house show run as he acquired a severe staph infection in his arm after working a date for Carlos Colon's WWC in Puerto Rico. Most people get a staph infection after they wrestle in Puerto Rico. It just comes with the territory. How'd you get that staph infection? I was backstage at a show in Puerto Rico. It just is in the air there.
If the worst thing you come away with is a staph infection, good. Most people die.
Yeah, die in the bathroom or whatever.
Yeah.
Jesus. All right, so September 8th in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma at the Myriad. The Bushwhackers beat Bradshaw and Zeb. That's what I keep looking at that. You said we talked about the last one that it would have been what kind of a match would it be? What I'm wondering is why did the Bushwhackers go over? I didn't think about that the first time I read the result. I was like, why did the Bushwhackers win?
To send him home. Well, it's not the end of the match. So I was saying, to send him home happy. People aren't going to lick themselves.
Farouk beat Bob Holly. Lothario beat Cornette. Stalker beat Lawler. Guns fought the Grimms to a double countout. Sid pinned Vader, and Michaels pinned Goldust. Also, instead of a Mankind Mark Henry angle to make up for Undertaker's no-show, Bill Watts showed up. He got into a brief scuffle with Mankind and Paul Bearer. I don't know why that's funny to me. Not Mankind, but Paul Bearer. Yeah, Bill Watts and Paul Bearer in a scuffle.
That's fun shit.
Like, the Undertaker's not going to be here, but we got this for you.
We got Bill Watts.
Not punching the jowls of Paul Bearer. That's what we got for you. All right, let's see here. Monday Night Raw, September 9th, taped August 20th in Columbus, Ohio.
Ricky Williams beat
Kevin Kelly, Jim Ross, and Jerry Lawler opened the program. You know, I don't like a lot of the modern three-man booths, but I liked these three-man booths in '96 in the WWF, like with Kevin Kelly, and it would just be random, too. It'd be like, this week it's Kevin Kelly, Michael Cole, and Jim Cornette. And next week it's Jim Ross, Jerry Lawler, and, you never knew who was going to be commentating the show.
Because they were good at it.
Yeah. Farouk beat Savio Vega. After Farouk won, Sonny said this was a Farouk first step to the Intercontinental title. Sid then made his way to the ring and faced off with Farouk. Several referees separated them. I think they're having a tournament match coming up. Sound bites aired of wrestlers talking about Ahmed's injury. Steve Austin told him to get well soon so he can pound his other kidney. It's like you said. I don't know if it was I forget which show we were doing. We do so many, and I think it was your show where you said you forget about before people like blew up when Steve Austin came out, and also
on the year that was or whatever. It's like you forget that Stone Cold Steve Austin was Stone Cold Steve Austin before he was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to like repeat myself, but
no, yeah, I know.
That dude was a prick before it was fun for him to be a prick.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And this Steve Austin is so much fun to go back and watch. You know, yeah. Like
like before people, like I always dug him, but like before he was beating up Vince. Like Steve Austin had so much good shit before he beat up, and I'm not undermining or poo-pooing the shit that he did when he was beating up Vince, which was great, but like 96 before he broke his neck, 97 Steve Austin was a fucking asshole, and it was so funny. Like he was the guy that you'd be at work with that would say shit that you wanted to say. It's like, oh, I can't say it, but he would just say it. Like you just said, oh, I want you to come back, Ahmed Johnson. Get healthy, buddy. Like, I hope your kidney heals so I can bust your other fucking kidney. Like, that's fucking great shit. Like,
Shawn Michaels
asshole Steve Austin
Yeah.
is like the best Steve Austin.
Oh, one of my favorite. And I bought the DVD when they did reissues of the WWF home video stuff. I bought the DVD version of the Austin 316 WWF home video that they did when he was like when he's like, I'm not dancing the sparklers and blah blah blah. Because there's so much funny shit on there when he's narrating his own stuff. He's like, I told him you're a no good piece of trash. When he's talking,
when he stuns Phineas, he goes, "You stinky son of a bitch." Throws him out.
He's like, he goes, you're a no good stinky piece of trash. That's what I told him. The way he says it's so funny. That's what I told him. All right, let's see here. Shawn Michaels and Jose Lothario were interviewed in mid-ring. Jose Lothario got worked up talking about wanting to get his hands on Jim Cornette. Michaels continues to improve his delivery, blah, blah, blah. As Michaels left the ring, they showed the cover of Playgirl with Shawn Michaels. Jim Ross asked Lawler if he's got his copy in the mail. Lawler said he has a lawsuit against Playgirl because for years they've kept using photos of his body and pasting other people's heads on it. Fucking Lawler. You talking about Ron Jeremy there, King?
Yeah. You hairy bastard.
The Stalker beat TL Hopper. So you have two great wrestlers, Barry Windham and Tony Anthony.
Tony Anthony versus Barry Windham would probably actually be a pretty good match. But WWF didn't let him.
Let's see here. As the match began, they cut immediately to a backstage interview with Brian Pillman and Owen Hart. Owen credited Pillman for bringing him and his brother back together. So there you go. We're heading into Brett coming back here. So Crush beat Freddie Joe Floyd after a heart punch.
Tracy Smothers.
Yep.
God bless.
They replayed Bob Backlund's introduction of the Iron Sheik from Friday's Raw. And in the main event, this is the main event of Monday Night Raw, folks. This shows you the WWF had not yet figured out what they were going to do to beat WCW. In the main event of Raw, The Undertaker beat Salvatore Sincere. Can you imagine that? At one point, the main event of Monday Night Raw was The Undertaker and Salvatore Sincere.
Good Lord.
Let's see what's up with WCW here this week. Terry Taylor's Tuesday 900 line report played it as if Sting actually turned heel without even a hint that maybe it wasn't really Sting. Maybe that's why people didn't call Terry Taylor's 900 number. Gene Okerlund said that the most money he made more money doing the 900 thing than he did was actual salary in WCW. Like, that's why he plugged it so much and was so hardcore with it.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Let's see here. Besides all the behind-the-scenes politics between Hogan and the Horsemen that caused problems after last week's Nitro, management were additionally upset that a reported $40,000 damage was done to the custom-made Nitro set at the end of the program. All right, WCW. A segment was taped where the NWO find Luger's Cadillac. They end up trashing his car, including the Giant jumping on the hood, trunk, and roof. I don't think that ever even aired. I don't remember ever seeing the NWO trashed Lex Luger's Cadillac.
I don't remember any of that.
But it sounds like something they do. It's not they'd record something, they'd spend all that money and destroy a Cadillac car, and then never even somebody'd be like, "Anybody got that tape of the Luger Cadillac deal?" And somebody's like, "I don't know. I think it's still in Atlanta. I don't know where it's at." Yeah, never mind. I guess we aren't going to do it. Let's see here. Heenan slipped up on Nitro and referred to Meng as Haku, the name he was known as in the WWF years ago. Later in the program, Bischoff said Heenan mistakenly called Meng by a name he used in the WWF, but he's under contract with WCW and has no association with the WWF. This is that time where they're all suing each other, so you know every little thing like that, they got to clear it up. There's talk of a Nasty Boys title run. The NWO may take the belts from them, or else the Nasties may feud with Meng and Barbarian. Since the Giant left the Dungeon of Doom in order for his dungeon to remain relevant, Kevin Sullivan will have to push someone. Apparently, Meng and Barbarian are his choices. Not bad choices at all.
No, Meng and Barbarian were badass some bitches.
Skits are planned. Well, it's funny because they never got the belts. They were always in the title picture, but they never got the belts. I saw one of the worst. Speaking of, I was watching late '99 stuff. I'm like 2 weeks into Russo's reign in WCW, and I just watched on one of the worst things ever. Remember when they did The Block with Jerry Flynn?
Yeah, that was dumb.
Meet me in the block. He just fucking lays waste to Barbarian. I was like, what the fuck? Vince Russo's an idiot. Why would you have someone lay waste to the fucking Barbarian? Anyway. To get over Jerry Flynn. Skits are planned with Public Enemy to help establish their character. They may do a takeoff on the ECW skit where the Public Enemy broke into Todd Gorton's office and went through his desk. They'll do it with Bischoff this time. I remember
watching that one time on the Reliving the Extreme.
Da, 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 da. I don't know why I did da, 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 da. I don't know why I did that. Oh, Johnny. The leak. Wait. I don't think that's relevant. The highest rated match during the August 26th Nitro was Flair and Arn versus Rock and Roll Express, which do a 5.0 rating. There you go, 1996. The Horsemen and the Rock and Roll still bringing in the ratings here. All right. It's into some WCW on the road, and we got a Saturday night TV taping here too. September 6th in Shreveport, Louisiana. Diamond Dallas Page beat Joe Gomez in the opener.
I would have left.
Hugh Morris attacked John Tenta before their match, prompting a disqualification. So they didn't even have a match. Like, how do you get disqualified by attacking the guy before the bell rings? WCW.
Because the ref would have been like, this is going to suck.
Just call it, yeah. Time of death.
Done.
Scott Norton beat Ice Train via countout. What? Harlem Heat beat Terry Taylor and Rick Steiner. And why is Terry Taylor? I mean, they announced Scott Steiner missed his flight, it says here, but why Terry Taylor? Why'd you put some tights on him? At this point, he's an office guy. Anyway, Big Bubba, the Barbarian, and Hugh Morris versus Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and the Giant barely got started before fans began throwing trash into the ring. Nash said over the house mic if they continued throwing trash, he would take the NWO to the back and they'd leave. He said they didn't fly down to this shithole to have paper thrown at them.
Good for him.
Oh, God, that's funny. Let's see. Bubba picked up some trash and threw it at him. Nash blew up at Bubba, grabbed his partner, and bailed to the back. For over 5 minutes, the referee and ring announcer looked confused and lost. Nick Patrick said if people continued to throw trash, they would have to stop the whole event. The NWO finally came back out. The Giant choke slammed all three of the Dungeon for the eventual win. That's fucking great. We didn't fly to this shithole to have paper thrown at us.
Paper thrown at me. Fuck off.
Fuck off, Shreveport.
Yeah. Stick it in your ass.
And in the main event, Lex Luger beat Ric Flair. And then now we have a WCW Saturday night taping, September 4th at Gainesville, Georgia at the Mountain Center. They taped Saturday night for September 7th and September 14th. The September show was 7th show was Bobby Walker beating Arn Anderson by top rope DQ thanks to referee Nick Patrick's decision. Gene Okerlund interviewed Arn Anderson, Kevin Sullivan, Chavo Guerrero. Arn Anderson and Kevin Sullivan. Chavo Guerrero beat High Voltage. They had to have a tag partner that didn't get written down here or something. Bobby Eaton with Jeeves beat Dave Taylor when Jeeves tripped up Taylor. The Faces of Fear beat Jim Powers and Prince Iakea. Okay.
The show sucks.
Randy Savage beat VK Wall Street. And Okerlund interviewed Savage regarding facing Giant and Hogan at the next two pay-per-views. In matches taped for the September 14th show, Diamond Dallas Page beat Hacksaw Duggan via disqualification. Lex Luger beat Ron Studd with the torture rack. Rick Steiner beat Kurosawa. Chris Jericho beat Billy Kidman.
Yeah,
I'm sure that was pretty good. Ice Train beat my boy the Gambler. And the Nasty Boys beat High Voltage. This Saturday night taping blew. Like, anybody that went here was like, oh yeah, we're going to go see WCW Saturday night. I want my fucking money back.
Wasn't that when they would go and like, wasn't it like when they like go to the zoo or whatever and like see monkeys flinging shit at each other? And it's like, oh, well, you just watched monkeys fling shit at each other. Oh, no, it wasn't monkeys. It was like, wasn't it? Oh, sorry. Wasn't this when they were like at like Universal Studios or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
So you'd watch like an episode. You'd watch like an episode of Step by Step get filmed, and then you'd watch fucking Kurosawa versus Rick Steiner.
But this taping was in Georgia. It wasn't even at the Disney MGM thing. So These people actually paid the ticket. Yeah, these people paid their tickets. They were probably like, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah. This wasn't even good.
All right, Nitro. Here we go. Yeah. Tony Schiavone and Larry Zbyszko opened the program. Highlights aired of Giants' turn on last week's Nitro. Super Callow pinned Pat Tanaka. I'll tell you what. A clip aired of Glacier's debut on WCW Pro. Why they did all that hype for Glacier and then he made his debut on Pro, I'll never know. The Nasty Boys beat the debuting Amazing French Canadians because that's WCW for you. You're going to make your debut and then you're going to lose. To who? The Nasty Boys. Aren't they about worn out in this territory? Yeah, but you're still going to lose to them. Scott Norton beat Craig Pittman. It's okay. Scott Norton beat Craig Pittman via submission. Norton rammed Pittman into the ring post and then applied an armbar. Pittman didn't give up. Teddy Long encouraged him to give up. Finally, Ice Train came to the ring, threw in the towel, and then went face-to-face with Norton. That's one thing. Okay, this is another thing I want to say about WCW at Nitro, especially in probably, say, 96, 97. Like when they had the – I guess – what do I want to say? This is one of the times where even though there's chaos, Eric Bischoff's only worried about booking the top guys, right? So he's going to let Kevin Sullivan and Terry Taylor and all them, a committee, book the others. You would have little things like this going on, like little sub-stories going on that were kind of fun in WCW, like Scott Norton and Ice Train, and then Craig Pittman's involved, and Teddy Long's his little stable's falling apart, and you know what I mean? Like, it's not terrible. This is entertaining at least. Let's see here. Okerlund interviewed Luger, Arn Anderson, and Ric Flair. Flair yelled at Luger, asking why Sting wasn't there. Luger said Sting was seen in the back. Chris Benoit and Steve McMichael interrupted, claiming it was obvious Sting wouldn't be there for them. Anderson said he has pre-booked a hospital bed because he expects to get hurt in the War Games. Only Arn Anderson would say something that cool to put over the impact of that, or the possible getting injured or whatever of a War Games match. I booked a hospital bed because I know I'm getting hurt. That's fucking cool, man. Arn Anderson's he's a shit.
Like, I'll let you say whatever you want to say, but how cool, not even cool, like, how badass can a guy look where he takes his glasses off and puts them on like a desk and like cuts his fucking promo, says what he's got to say, and then he picks his glasses back up and puts them back on.
Yeah.
Fucking hard to do that shit. And he didn't even think about it. It's like, this dude has bad coronaries or whatever.
He's got cataracts.
He's got cataracts, but he's still gonna fuck you up. Like Arn would take his glasses off, talk some shit, and be like, "We're gonna fuck you up. Fuck you. I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm the enforcer." And then he'd be like, "Oh, I gotta put my glasses back on." And then he'd walk away. Like, that dude's badass.
Toot toot.
And he did all that shit in little shorty shorts. Like, he was badass.
Yeah. When he wears his fedora. God bless it. Juventud Guerrera beat Joe Gomez. Gene Okerlund interviewed Nick Patrick about last week's disqualification. Patrick defended his decision and blamed Okerlund for spreading lies about him. I love heel Nick Patrick.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
Heel Nick Patrick is great. Well, I was say Gene spread lies to his 1-800 number. But, yeah, heel Nick Patrick was cool.
Rick Steiner beat Lex Luger via countout. Shivani asked where's Sting, blah, blah, blah. Then that is when they went to the Sting angle that we just talked about a little bit ago. So one smart thing they did, I think, with that angle there, looking at the run of the show here, is that they did, a lot of times when they do those angles with somebody turning or a mystery to be solved or whatever, they do it at the end of the show and leave a cliffhanger, which is a smart thing to do. Cliffhangers are good. It gets people to want to watch next week. But with what happened with Sting here, it was actually smart of them to do it in the middle of the show so that the commentators could buzz about it for the rest of the show.
Yeah. But Steiner always seemed kind of tarded when he'd be like, "Where's Sting? Sting? Where's Sting? I don't know what's going on with Sting." And then Sting would just drop him on his fucking waterhead. Why's Sting beating me up? What's going on with Sting?
I thought we could trust Sting.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio Jr. beat. That's all right. Rey Mysterio Jr. beat Billy Kidman. Megan Barbarian beat the Public Enemy. Now see, here you go. This is more Arn Anderson. Okerlund interviewed Luger in the Four Horsemen. Anderson referred to Sting as being the only constant in WCW since TBS bought the company. He said he has a sick feeling in his stomach, and he is in shock. A sick feeling in my stomach. Something that said, again, I know I'm just harping on this, like romanticizing about Arn Anderson's promos, but he doesn't get enough credit for what an awesome fucking promo he was.
Yeah.
Okerlund interviewed, let's see here. Okerlund interviewed Jimmy Hart, Kevin Sullivan in the Dungeon of Doom. Hart talked about being betrayed by the Giant. Bubba challenged Glacier. Conan, in his new gangster persona, talked about the Dungeon of Doom being the strongest group and challenging the NWO. When Conan first started doing that gimmick, he laid it on too heavy. I mean, as you could tell, like you could tell as time goes on, he kind of pulls it because at first he was like, "Hey man, let me tell you something, Chico." Like it was just so over the top and bad. And yeah, you could tell as time went on, he was like, "I'm being a little racist to my own people here with this."
He had his stupid hat and his fucking FUBU jacket or whatever. Yeah, he looked stupid.
Yeah. Now later on, when he toned that back, like NWO Wolfpack Conan, he fucking made me laugh. Like I entertaining. The fucking shoe, the fucking shoe deal. The shoe deal. I mean, I don't know. He entertained me.
Well, the shoe deal was TNA.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was TNA.
It's fucking funny though.
It was, and in WCW when he'd be like, "Hey, you like how my hat looks? Touch it."
That's enough.
Somebody touch me. That's enough. Like that's what Conan is for me. Like Conan in the ring, trash.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
I
never tell you a good fucking Conan match I've ever seen, but personality wise, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Like Conan is almost like the like Hispanic Road Dog.
Yeah,
If that makes sense. Like I've never seen like a Brian James match where I was like, oh, Brian James killed it in the ring. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But promo wise and just essence wise, I'm like, oh man, Road Dogg's the shit. You know what I mean?
Fucking, yeah, charisma. Yeah.
Like out of the Armstrong family, like obviously Bob's the best, you know, and Brad in the ring, you don't get any better than fucking Brad Armstrong.
Right.
If somebody tries to tell me Brad Armstrong sucks in the ring, I'll smack him in the fucking mouth and sit back at the bus stop and wait for somebody to fucking pick you up. And then like Steve Armstrong, I'm going off on the Armstrongs now. I didn't know I was going to get into this, but like Steve Armstrong was like all of it all together. Like Steve Armstrong could cut a great promo, and he was fucking great in the ring too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But Road Dogg is what I was trying to get at, where he's gonna have a passable good match with some good people that he's in there with. But that dude, I can understand why he was the star of the family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, out of all the boys, out of all the sons, he got the majority of Bob's on-screen charisma. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was the biggest and all that shit. But sorry about going on like a big Armstrong tangent, but that's what I was saying with like Conan. Like Conan, I hate him in the ring. I don't want to see him wrestle. I shouldn't even say I want to. I'm going to hate seeing him wrestle. I'm not going to see like a bad Conan match, but I'm not going to see a Conan match where I'm like, oh, that was fantastic.
Right.
But I'm going to see a promo where I'm going to be like, that's fucking entertaining as shit. Or he's like, oh, that's enough. Bow down and peel my potato, bitch. It's like, yeah, that's fucking funny shit.
John Tenta beat Randy Savage by countout after Savage hit a top rope elbow and was on his way to an apparent win. Teddy Long ran to ringside and told him the Outsiders were back. Savage ran to the parking lot and was joined by virtually the entire WCW crew. One limo drove away, but another was still in the lot. They got a spray paint can out of the limo and painted the limo with the letters WCW. The announcers discussed the situation, and the Horsemen joined them at the desk as the show ended. John Tenta beat Randy Savage by countout. John Tenta was just in the right place at the right time for that match.
Yes.
So we will round it out here. Like I said, literally, I have no indie results. So we'll go with some ECW stuff, and then we'll be able to wrap it up. There's not even a lot of ECW. Upcoming lineups for ECW in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. We'll have Sabu versus Rob Van Dam, Tommy Dreamer and Sandman versus Raven and Brian Lee, Eliminator Perry Saturn versus Pitbull number 2, the Gangstas versus Shane Douglas and a randomly drawn partner, Doug Furness and Dan Crawford against Mikey Whipwreck and Louis Spicoli, Taz versus Little Guido, Axel Rotten and Hack Myers versus Bubba Dudley and Devon Dudley, plus Steve Williams and Johnny Smith in singles bouts. I don't even remember Johnny Smith being in ECW.
I remember a little bit of it.
Let's see, on ECW TV show, they showed a graphic that read the following: ECW acknowledges and appreciates the assistance of the following in the production of this TV show: Tommy Boy Music, Matador Records, Death Row Interscope, Stonecutter Media, Thunderkiss 65, courtesy D. They're fucking trying to, because ECW used a lot of music without getting permission first.
Yeah.
So at the end of the show, they're like, let's run a thing that thanks all these fucking people.
We're sorry we stole your shit.
I think that's fucking hilarious. Ah, shit. All right, ECW TV, August 30th. Shane Douglas opened the show swimming to shore. Wrestling. He made fun of the Jerry Lewis telethon and said swimming is something Pitbull number 1 would never do again. Fucking love it. I love wrestling, man. I love heels. I don't know why that popped me so much, but like Just the fact that, like, all right, if you think about it, we like to say this sometimes. If you think about it in the context of if pro wrestling is real, this asshole was like, hey, I want you to film me swimming in the ocean. Why? Because when I get out, I want to tell Pitbull he'll never be able to swim again.
John Tenta might be nipping at your heels. Bitch.
Joey Styles introduced the show. Douglas and Francine interrupted him. Douglas continued to brag about breaking Pitbull number 1's neck and ending Pitbull number 2's tag team hopes and taking his singles title. Francine ended by saying Joel Gertner is a better announcer than Joey. Let's see, highlights of Rob Van Dam versus Doug Furnace last week. Is there anything? It's hype. They showed an introduction of Lori Fullington, who was joined by Stevie Richards and Blue Meanie for her scheduled match against Missy Hyatt. Heel ring announcer Joel Gertner announced that the match would not take place because Missy Hyatt broke her arm. After insulting the fans, Missy hit Sandman. Missy and Sandman caned Gertner. Blue Meanie then said to get Lori. Blue Meanie then said to get to Lori, Missy will have to go through him. So she did so easily, caning him out of the ring. Richards then reminded Missy he had a sexual harassment lawsuit against her. He said he was willing to drop the suit right there if she would denounce the Sandman. Missy accepted and made fun of Sandman's private parts and his lack of performance due to beer drinking. Sandman caned her in the head from behind. Man, like, can you imagine mapping that segment out? Like, the ECW... You read it like we taught and we haven't even gotten to how the insanity of ECW yet on Reliving the Extreme, but we watch it and we talk about it. But then when I sit here and I read it, I'm like, Jesus Christ, a lot is going on. Yeah,
it's like a fever dream.
Louis Spicolli beat Devin Storm. Taz beat Tommy Dreamer. Let's see here. Let's see, at 10 minutes, Taz applied the Taz mission. Beulah entered the ring and begged Taz to stop. Alfonso backed her into a corner and grabbed a chair. Terry Gordy then entered the ring for the save. The Eliminators then gave Gordy the total elimination. Brian Lee then applied the Oriental Spike. El Puerto Ricano, Donnie Allen, Bad Crew, Bubba Dudley, Sign Guy Dudley, and Hack Myers all had failed save attempts. So there you go. That's, again, it's just insane.
It's a fever dream.
Yes. Well, that is that. That is, we're putting the bow on another episode here of Slice of Time on WrestleNet Radio. I do want to, again, encourage anybody that's listening out there to check out Aaron's show, the year that was 1997. Whenever these shows are going to air, also, I do post it on all of our Facebook social media things to let you know when they're going to air. I know a lot of times with Aaron's work and stuff, his show has, sometimes I got to air it on Monday or Tuesday or a different day, but I do post that up. Also, check out any of the Asylum Wrestling podcast shows on there with the virtual meet and greets with pro wrestlers. You can hear the fans talking to your favorite wrestlers on those shows here on the station. And, of course, 3 hours before this show airs every Friday night, If You Smell What the Arch is Cooking, with Archie Mitchell, Fridays at 7 p.m., this show again at 10 p.m., and check out also episodes of our new partners and friends from the Tornado Tag Podcast, Anthony Blackwell and his crew. They're doing a great job, and we're glad to have them on the show. And some more. I'm talking to some more people about getting more hosts, more content, more shows here on WrestleNet Radio. But I want to thank everybody who's joining us here in the beginning months and the beginning of this, because I think it's going to be a big deal as time goes on. Thank you so much. Aaron, anything you have to say before we sign off here?
Not much. Just thanks for listening to all the shows, especially the Reliving the Extreme and the We Can't Wrestle podcast. And I'm sorry I can't be more consistent with the year that was, but Nate doesn't pay me anything, so I have to do my shoot job. So whenever you guys hear that coming up, just listen to it and listen to everything. If like, there's no um, there's no bad show in the whole lot. Everything we do is good, and if you guys don't enjoy it, then fuck off. It's and um, we also, I know Nate doesn't say it a lot, but um, because he's not a heel, but I enjoy y'all's interaction. So any show we have, give us interaction. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like. Let us know what you want to hear in the future.
And a little behind the scenes thing too. Aaron and I have discussed it in the past. When I have and I have some time off for my shoot job coming up the week that we are doing that convention in October, and that one of the things I'm going to be working on in that week away from my shoot job is getting the technical things and the specifics going so that we can actually broadcast live here on the station, take your phone calls, interact with you live on the station. I am going to be working on that. That is something that is coming to WrestleNet Radio.
Nate's better with the words. That's what I was going to say. Interact with us, bitches. Let us know what you think. Let us know how you feel. Do you enjoy it? Do you not enjoy it? Let us know what you want to hear. We can cater this shit and customize it to what you guys want to hear. And
we can't get better if we don't know what you want.
Yeah. We can't get worse if you don't want us to get better.
Something like that. I think that was in a fortune cookie I had last week.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Slice of Time. Thank you, Aaron, for joining me. And we'll see everybody next week as we continue on our journey. I said journey. I knew a guy named Journey one time. As we continue on our journey through 25 years ago in the world, our wacky, wonderful world that we all love so much of professional wrestling. We'll see you next week, everybody. Have a great week. And thanks for listening to